back. Hey, welcome back to Bible and Blues. We are doing Dirk Gently Season 2, Episode 2. I am actually really excited about this. So, we start back off in Fantasyland. Okay, so you see that moon right there in the background? That's kind of part and parcel for this land, it seems. But we find out the name of our pink-haired guy is Ponto Trost. Is supposed to be his name, and apparently the guy that kissed him was supposed to uh, kill him. So obviously that didn't go as planned. So that's okay though. So anyway, she's really mad that they made up some really bad excuse, and then the giant of a guy that was with him took the fall for it. So, whatever. So, okay. So, we go back to, and that's kind of the most of that right there in a nutshell, what happens in this episode. So now we move on to as close to reality as Dirk Gently gets. And so the Todd and Farrah are going to investigate this car that fell out of the tree. And inside the car are a couple of dead bodies. And the car only has 42 miles on it. The car's been, it's old. It's like 50 years old. That's really questioning how did they get up in the tree? How did they, how did they die? What's the big deal? I don't know. So there's a couple of bodies in there though. So then of course our hero Dirk Gently is in the trunk. How did he get there? We'll blame the green-eyed girl. By the way, her name is Mona. So we get that out of it. So Mona was a green-eyed lady who can teleport and change shapes and transfiguration and everything. And then, while they're there, everybody's celebrating, and Sheriff of Berksburg shows up because he's realizing he's got something going on in his county, and it's the first time ever. He's never arrested anybody before, and he's the sheriff. So then we go check out stuff happening in Blackwing for a second. By the way, yes, D-Zone, you were right. His name is Hugo. So Suzie she's calling in a sick day. Okay, she's taking a personal day, and her husband, his name's Bob. He's he doesn't care. He's like, he wants her to take the dog out. It's his dog. And and if he takes a crap on the carpet, she's got to clean it up. Well, it turns out all she wants to do was take the day off. I mean, let's face it, her boss just got killed anyway, and check out this whole spell book and wand thing. So as she has the book open, she has the wand, and she starts to see the words change in the book so that they become English, so she can see what they are and see what these things do. So. Then we have, going back to our Berksburg's finest, Deputy Tina and Sheriff Hobbs. Okay, they're talking about, and Deputy Tina comes driving up, and trying to figure out what's going on because nothing ever happens in Berksburg, literally, in the entire county, and but the sheriff, she sees. Okay, so I'm not sure why at this point in time. But Dirk Gently is tied to a post. Not tied to. His hands are wrapped around a post, and he's handcuffed to a post, a carport post outside. Don't know why. Okay, really don't know what that is. It's just animals walking by, and it's disturbing my green screen. It's bothering me. Of course, it's all messed up. So. Sheriff comes running outside, sees Deputy Tina, and he shows her one of the driver's license, the IDs of the people in the car, and it's Maria Cardenas. And apparently this is some sort of a big mystery thing going, from the town in its history. It's something that happened in '67, and they refer to it because I guess nothing ever happened. So this is one thing, something happened is '67. So then they switch over to Amanda and that rowdy one guy, and I really got to look up his name for you. I'll probably have that for you next time. They're trying to induce her to have her visions and her disease to kick in through fear, and it's just not working because she's just not as scared of the guy and what he's doing. She's kind of getting used to his whole method of doing things. So anyway, we go back to Suzie. Susie's starting to give herself a makeover. Okay, she makes herself look younger. She fixed her hip, whatever it was. There was some sort of an accident that caused her to completely, have a lame leg, and she fixed that. She does all the housework with the wand. Gives herself six-pack abs. I mean, she does herself up a bit. Who wouldn't, right? I mean, you figured this out. I wouldn't mind giving myself a set of six-pack abs. So, Deputy Tina, it turns out, she knows Todd from his band, and she is a fan of his band that he, kind of destroyed. So he's got a fan. He had no idea he had a fan. She was like, you were a really big deal in the mid 2000s. So good for there. So we're gonna kind of skip over a little bit here, but Amanda decides to try using a train. They're by a set of railroad tracks. Okay, so she's still trying to get herself fear. She's trying to get strong enough fear to cause a hallucination, and which will cause a vision. Okay, because these visions are how they're tracking where to find the rest of the rowdies. Okay, and so she uses a train. Now the train, what she does is, she's a small girl, so she lays down on the tracks. She's taking a mighty big risk, and the train goes right over her. Now, mind you, trains only have about that much clearance on. She was definitely. I would say she's tall. Come on, we're all bigger than that. After the age of 10. So whatever. But it works. It does a great job. She figures out where she has a full-on vision. She has everything happens. She's seeing injuries that she doesn't have, and which she really should have, and she has a full-on vision of where she needs to go. So Hobbs, during this time, that our fearless leader and Todd and Farrah are all in jail. They're talking now. Now Dirk is Dirk, all right, and Todd, who's all excited to find Dirk before because it's going to help him find his sister. That's his whole goal. That's his whole goal, is to find his sister. He sees, Dirk's completely derailing that. Okay, and now he's starting to remember how irritated he was with Dirk most of the time, because Dirk's like, it's all going to work out. We're going to figure this out. It's all going to happen on its own. We're just going to let it happen. And Todd says, "Oh, we're never going to get out of here, are we?" All of a sudden, the sheriff comes in and says, and by the way, just kind of a note, the sheriff is in on the whole holistic thing. He totally gets it. Totally is into this. So, which is really surprising. But he kind of releases him from jail. And because he has this really big case now, he wants their help to solve it because they're detectives, and he's buying into the whole holistic detective thing. But one of Todd's concerns is the fact that he lost all of his meds, and it turns out, whoa, okay, the sheriff has a cat that has epilepsy. And the meds that they use for the cat are are pretty much the same as what he uses for his visions and his hallucinations. And so it's like, you might need to take more, but here you go. So what are the odds, right? So that's called the universe working. So then we move on to Ken. Remember, Ken was Bart's, the one that survived. And Ken is still stuck in the taxi cab. And Hugo comes to talk to him again, and Ken's like, let me out of here, and I'll help you with this stuff. And this is called quid pro quo. And of course, who was like, I don't speak Spanish. It's like, okay, whatever, you don't understand that. Stupid guy, right? So, and then once he explains what quid pro quo is, Hugo's like, oh yeah, that sounds great, and he walks out and just leaves him in there again. So, So back to our main group here. The crew goes back to the house, which is the house that was it had been broken into earlier, and so and you know the before the Magic Man showed up, which I got to look his name up still. Before he showed up, and you know these guys, they get there and they see the muddy footprints, and so they know it was pretty recent, and you know Farrah and Sheriff Sherlock Hobbs, Sheriff Sherlock, go in the house, and then Dirk, Todd, and Deputy Tina go to the shed, okay, the garage or shed or barn, or whatever you want to call it. So, and as you know, Hugo or Hobbs and Farrah follow the footprints upstairs. I mean, it's kind of weird things. I mean, the house was cleaned up, but for some reason, one phone was left connected, although it doesn't work. You know, they continue to follow, go up to a room, and you know, this magic guy seems to have some teleportation abilities or invisibility or what. We're not too sure. So, and you know, I mean, this entire time, you know, Susie's having lots of fun with her new powers. You know, she does some stuff, and you know, at one point in time, her husband comes home, and yeah, she uses it on him, and he you know, just is compelled to do whatever she tells him to do, which she's starting to like it. She's liking that very quickly. I know we're a little all over the place. Dirk finds a blaster of some kind in the barn. It's a functional thing. He shoots it, blows a hole through the wall. So they take this thing. They go over to, you know, I mean, you have three essentially kids. Okay, Todd's the most mature one, and he's a basket case, right? So you have so Todd, Tina, and Dirk are sitting there shooting this thing at a tree, and you know it's having an effect on the tree. Eventually, they kind of blast something of a hole in the tree, and what do? They find a body, an adult body in the tree. All they see is a hand. That's all you see so far. So kind of weird. And back over at Blackwing, something kind of significant happens. Hugo has decided he's going to try to use the vampire guys and the ones that suck the energy out, because they really like Dirk Gently. Okay, they really want to, you know, keep an eye on Dirk Gently, and they pull his energy out, and it doesn't have much of an effect on people like Dirk and Bart and you know all of them, but you know normal people apparently it's pretty devastating effect. So Amanda is a special person because they pulled from her, and you know so the Martin, the main guy, starts sucking the energy out of Hugo. Now, Hugo is nothing special, so it's really devastating. In walks this guy, and he, I wish I could remember his name because I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, and he's really good, and I really like him. Anyway, he was the pilot on Serenity, on the ship Serenity, and so anyway, so in he walks in, and they call him Mr. Priest. And he's able to stun the guy and back him up. Turns out this guy is a hunter of these special people. That's what his job is. That's what he does. He's a bad guy. He's not a nice guy. He's brought in to do things that nobody else wants to do. So and so that's his purpose there, and he seems to enjoy it. Other thing, so we're pretty close to the end here. And yeah, I'm gonna stop there. But what did you think of the episode? Did you enjoy it? Fill in my blanks because I spent about 15 minutes on this one, and I think I covered most of it. What did you think of the episode? Did you like it? Where do you think this is going with the Bergsburg's finest? And Farrah and Todd are not really a couple, but Tina's kind of sweet on Todd. You think that'll happen there? It looks like Susie's gonna be not nice in the end, or at least for a period of time. She's looks like she's kind of enjoying her newfound power a little bit too much, but that's okay. I mean, I would too in her situation. So What did you think? Did you enjoy it? Let me know. Fill me in. Give me a comment down below. This is Bob and Blues. I'm out of here.